The alarm blared at exactly 3:00 a.m., jolting Dr. Hannah Kim from her restless sleep. Today wasn't just another day at the lab. It was potentially the most important day in human history. She dressed quickly, her hands trembling slightly as she buttoned her shirt. After 10 years of research, countless failures, and being laughed out of 6 major scientific conferences, today would prove her right, or end her career completely. The International Space Research Coalition facility sat nestled in the mountains, away from prying eyes. Hannah swiped her badge at the entrance, the familiar weight of responsibility settling on her shoulders. "Dr. Kim, you're early," said Minho, her chief engineer, looking up from his tablet. Dark circles underlined his eyes. "Final calculations are complete. The quantum matrix is stable." Hannah nodded. "Any word from Director Park?" "He arrived an hour ago. Said he wouldn't miss this for anything." The team gathered in the control room. 20 of the brightest minds on Earth. Some had sacrificed marriages and family relationships to be here. All had staked their reputations on what many called Kim's folly. Director Park approached, his face serious. "The board is watching remotely. No pressure, but the funding committee is also online." Hannah smiled tightly. "Tell them to open their checkbooks." The quantum displacement drive wasn't like other theoretical FTL systems. It didn't bend space or create wormholes. Instead, it caused matter to temporarily exist in multiple quantum states simultaneously, allowing instantaneous relocation across vast distances. The theory was sound, but the energy requirements were enormous. Through the viewing window, Hannah could see the unmanned prototype ship Prometheus, small and sleek, containing only the drive and basic sensors. If successful, it would jump to Alpha Centauri and back in under a minute. "Beginning power-up sequence," announced June, the systems specialist. Overhead lights dimmed as power redirected to the launch bay. Hannah's tablet displayed scrolling data. The quantum matrix building, particles aligning perfectly. Her breathing slowed. This was it. Quantum coherence at 97%, 98%, 99%. Full coherence achieved. June's voice rose with excitement. "Initiate displacement in 3, 2, 1. The room fell silent. On the monitor, the Prometheus simply vanished. No flash, no sound, just gone. "Tracking signal lost," said Minho, his voice tight. As expected. Now came the waiting. If the drive failed, they would never know what happened to the ship. If it succeeded, exactly 40 seconds later, alarms blared. "Quantum disturbance detected," shouted June. "It's back." The Prometheus had reappeared in exactly the same position. As data flooded in, the control room erupted in cheers. The sensors confirmed it. The ship had traveled to Alpha Centauri, gathered data, and returned. "We did it," whispered Hannah, as Minho hugged her, lifting her off the ground. "We really did it." Director Park was already on his phone. "Yes, sir. Complete success. We're already planning the next test." What none of them realized was that the quantum disturbance created by the drive had rippled across the fabric of space-time like a stone dropped in a still pond. The ripples spread at speeds far beyond light, crossing vast interstellar distances. In a distant star system, a monitoring station's alarms activated. The operator, a being with 6 limbs and compound eyes, stared at the readings in disbelief. "Impossible," it clicked in its native language. The primitives couldn't have. But the evidence was clear. The operator's appendage hovered over the emergency communication button. This would need to go directly to the Galactic Council. A Level 3 civilization had just achieved quantum displacement, something only theorized by the Council's best scientists. Back on Earth, champagne flowed freely in the control room. Plans were already being made for a second test, this time to the Barnard's star system, 6 light-years away. To the Prometheus team, Director Park raised his glass. "Today, humanity steps into the stars." "The next test is scheduled for next week," Hannah announced, scrolling through data on her tablet. And this time, we're going 3 times farther. None of them could have imagined that across the galaxy, emergency sessions were being called, military assets were being mobilized, and diplomatic teams were being assembled. Humanity had just announced its presence to the galaxy in the most alarming way possible, and the galaxy was coming to address the situation. Dr. Hannah Kim was reviewing data from the Prometheus test when alarms blared throughout the facility. Her coffee cup slipped from her fingers, shattering on the floor. Dr. Kim to the main observatory. Immediately came Director Park's voice over the intercom. Something in his tone made her blood run cold. She sprinted down the hallway, passing confused technicians. When she burst into the observatory, she found the senior team gathered around the main screen. "What's happening?" she asked, breathless. Director Park pointed upward. "That's happening." On the screen, 7 ships had appeared in high Earth orbit. They weren't human vessels. Their designs were completely alien, with strange geometries that seemed to bend in impossible ways. "They appeared 10 minutes ago," Minho explained. "No conventional approach, no warning. They just materialized." "Have they made contact?" Hannah asked. As if in answer, every screen in the facility flickered. The face that appeared wasn't human. It had pale blue skin, 4 eyes arranged in a diamond pattern, and no visible nose or mouth. When it spoke, the words seemed to bypass their ears entirely, appearing directly in their minds. "We are representatives of the Galactic Council. We request immediate dialogue with your leaders regarding your recent quantum experimentation." Within hours, the UN Security Council convened an emergency session. Hannah found herself seated at a long table beside the Secretary General and representatives from major world powers. Across from them sat the aliens, 3 different species, each stranger than the last. The lead diplomat, who called himself Cian, spoke first. "We have been observing Earth for centuries. Your species was classified as Development Category 3, at least 200 years from achieving quantum displacement technology." Murmurs spread through the human delegation. "You've been watching us?" the Secretary General asked. "All developing worlds are monitored," replied Cian. "It is protocol. But your recent quantum displacement test has created a crisis. No species has ever advanced so unpredictably." Hannah leaned forward. "Our test was successful. Why is this a problem?" The alien diplomat's 4 eyes blinked in sequence. "Dr. Kim, your quantum displacement drive creates dangerous ripples in space-time. These ripples can be detected across thousands of light years. They disrupt navigation, communication, and potentially the fabric of reality itself." "That can't be right," Hannah objected. "Our models show minimal spatial disruption." "Your models are incomplete," said another alien, this one resembling a tall insect with translucent skin. "The quantum wake from your single test disrupted shipping lanes in 3 sectors. Had your device been larger, it could have collapsed several local star systems." The room fell silent as the implications sank in. "The Council demands immediate cessation of all quantum displacement experimentation," Cian continued. "In exchange, we offer alternative FTL technology, safer methods we have developed over millennia." Director Park frowned. "This seems convenient. We achieve a breakthrough, and suddenly you appear offering alternatives while demanding we abandon our research." The insect-like alien's antennae quivered. "Your skepticism is noted but irrelevant. The safety of this galaxy is our primary concern. Perhaps we could see this alternative technology," Hannah suggested, "for scientific evaluation." Cian nodded. "Arrangements will be made." Later, in a secure room, Hannah confronted the Secretary General. "We can't just abandon our research on their say-so." "They have 7 ships in orbit, Dr. Kim," he replied wearily. "Ships that appeared without using any detectable propulsion system. We're hardly in a position to refuse." "Something doesn't add up," Hannah insisted. "Their reaction is too extreme for a simple safety concern." The next day, a smaller alien vessel landed at the research facility. The council representatives brought crates of technology, data crystals, strange metals, and devices that hummed with unknown energy. As Hannah examined them, she noticed something odd. The alien FTL system was elegant but deliberately inefficient. Certain connections seemed designed to limit power flow, almost as if deliberately hobbled. When she pointed this out to Minho, he whispered, "It's like giving a sports car to a child, but limiting it to 30 miles per hour." Later that night, Hannah found a message on her secure terminal. "Keep the Prometheus project alive." Quietly. Director Park. Outside, the alien ships remained in orbit, silent sentinels watching Earth's every move. Humanity had stepped onto the galactic stage and found it a far more dangerous place than anyone had imagined. The alien technology sat on the lab bench, its components meticulously laid out for study. Dr. Hannah Kim moved her scanner across the drive core for the 5th time, confirming what she'd already suspected. "It's definitely not an accident," she told Minho, who watched with narrowed eyes. "These regulators aren't safety features, they're throttles. The drive is being artificially restricted." Minho picked up one of the alien components, like putting a governor on a sports car engine. "Exactly." Hannah pointed to her computer models. "If we remove these limiters, the Council's FTL drive would be nearly as efficient as our quantum displacement drive. Just safer, according to them." Minho frowned. "So they gave us a crippled version of their technology, while demanding we abandon ours completely. That doesn't sound like a fair trade." "No, it doesn't." Their conversation was interrupted by Security Director Topark entering the lab. His expression was grim as he placed a small device on the table. "Turn this on," he said quietly. When activated, the device created a low hum. "Signal jammer," Park explained. "We can speak freely now." He inserted a data chip into Hannah's computer. Images appeared, intercepted communications from the Council ships. "Our intelligence team has been monitoring transmissions between the Council delegation and their home systems," Park said. "They're speaking much more candidly among themselves." The translated text scrolled across the screen. Hannah read silently, her face paling. "They're not just concerned about safety," she whispered. "They're terrified of human advancement." Park nodded grimly. "Specifically, they're afraid of our unpredictability. One message refers to humans as dangerous innovators. Apparently, most species follow predictable technological paths. We don't. And our quantum displacement drive. They call it the Great Disruptor. Not because it damages spacetime, though it does create detectable ripples. It's a disruptor because it challenges their technological hierarchy." The UN Security Council convened in secret the following day. Representatives from 12 nations sat around the table as Dr. Kim and Director Park presented their findings. "We believe the Galactic Council is enforcing technological stagnation," Park concluded. "They provide controlled advancements to developing species while restricting true innovation." The Secretary General looked troubled. "Can we be certain of this interpretation?" "We've identified similar limiting components in all technology they've shared," Hannah explained. "It's systematic." "What do you recommend?" asked the Russian delegate. "We officially accept their terms," Park said, "while secretly continuing our research." 2 days later, Earth's official response was delivered to the Council delegation. They would cease quantum displacement research in exchange for the alien FTL technology. Sion, the lead alien diplomat, seemed pleased. "A wise decision. The Council welcomes Earth into the galactic community." But that night, satellite imagery detected increased activity around the alien ships. Encrypted transmissions spiked. Director Park burst into Hannah's lab at midnight. "They know we're lying. They must have surveillance we haven't detected." "How can you be sure?" He showed her new images. More Council ships had arrived at the edge of the solar system. "They're bringing in reinforcements." The next morning, Sion requested another meeting. This time, his tone had changed. "The Council has detected continued quantum research at your facilities. he stated flatly. This violates our agreement. The Secretary General attempted diplomacy. Perhaps there's a misunderstanding. There is no misunderstanding. Cian interrupted. Cease all quantum research immediately, or face quarantine. Quarantine? Hannah asked. Your system will be isolated. No ships in or out. No communications, until compliance is assured. After the aliens departed, an emergency meeting was called. Director Park presented new intelligence. We've detected Council military vessels moving into position around our solar system. They're preparing to enforce their threat. We need time, Hannah argued. My team has already begun modifying the Prometheus design. We've incorporated elements from the Council technology to reduce the quantum wake. But we need at least 2 months to build working prototypes. The decision was made. Publicly, Earth would protest the Council's ultimatum while appearing to gradually comply. Privately, every available resource would be directed toward building a fleet of upgraded Prometheus ships. Underground facilities were converted to manufacturing centers. Engineers worked in shifts around the clock. Hannah barely slept, splitting her time between research and implementation. They're watching us closely, Park warned her as they inspected the first new ship. We're running out of time. How many vessels will be ready if they move against us? 7, maybe 8. Park's expression was grim. Against their hundreds. Hannah touched the hull of the prototype. Numbers won't matter if our technology works as intended. Above them, more Council ships arrived daily, tightening the noose around Earth. The ultimatum hung over humanity like a sword. Surrender innovation, or face isolation from the stars they'd just begun to reach. The announcement came at dawn. Council warships had crossed Neptune's orbit, heading toward Earth in a formation that military analysts called unmistakably aggressive. This is Galactic Council authority. Came the transmission to all Earth frequencies. We hereby establish protective quarantine of Sol system under Section 87 of Galactic Security Protocols. All spacecraft are grounded. All communications beyond your system are prohibited. In the underground facility beneath the Rocky Mountains, Dr. Hannah Kim watched the feeds with her team. 8 Prometheus-class ships, humanity's entire defense fleet, were hidden in hangars around the world, waiting for the command to launch. They're moving faster than we anticipated, Director Park said, his face grim in the blue light of the monitors. Admiral Lee reports they'll reach Earth orbit in 6 hours. Hannah barely heard him. She was staring at new data from their quantum sensors, devices created by combining human innovation with reverse-engineered Council technology. Look at this, she said suddenly, pointing to strange patterns in the readings. The Council ships are creating some kind of field as they move. Minho leaned closer. It's like they're pushing against something. Or being pushed against, Hannah whispered, the realization dawning. She typed furiously, running simulations. It's not natural. The space-time fabric around their ships is artificially constrained. The team gathered around her station as the evidence mounted. The Council ships were traveling through corridors of limited physics, predefined paths where certain quantum states were suppressed. They've rigged the game, Hannah explained, her voice rising with excitement and anger. They're not just limiting technology, they're limiting reality itself. They've created artificial barriers in space-time that their approved technologies navigate within, but can't break through. Can our drives detect these limitations? Park asked. Better than that, Hannah replied. Our quantum displacement drive ignores them completely. It's why they fear us. We're jumping over fences they didn't even know could be jumped. The secure line to the Defense Command Center buzzed. Admiral Jeho Lee's face appeared on screen, his normally calm expression tense. Dr. Kim, we've detected energy buildups in the Council fleet. Analysis suggests weapons preparation. They're targeting our satellite networks and ground-based defense systems. How long? Park demanded. 2 hours, maybe less. We need to decide now. The President herself joined the call. After hearing Hannah's discovery, she made the decision. Launch the fleet. Show them humanity won't be cage. Admiral Lee nodded. Understood, Madam President. Across the globe, hidden hangar doors slid open. 8 ships, each bearing the insignia of the United Earth Defense Force, rose into the sky. They were smaller than the Council vessels, sleeker with the enhanced quantum displacement drives at their cores. From his command chair on the flagship Defiance, Admiral Lee watched as the tactical display showed the Council Armada, 50 ships strong, approaching Earth. All vessels, engage quantum displacement at my mark, he ordered. Remember your training. Use their limitations against them. The Council detected the human ships too late. By then, the Earth fleet had already vanished from conventional sensors. The first Council vessel was taken completely by surprise when the Defiance materialized directly above it. The human ship fired precision strikes at the alien vessel's propulsion systems before disappearing again. Across the solar system, the pattern repeated. Human ships appeared where they shouldn't be able to go, striking with surgical precision before quantum jumping away. They moved through spaces the Council ships couldn't access, ignoring the artificial limitations that bound conventional FTL travel. They can't track us, reported Commander Yuna, Lee's tactical officer. Their weapons can't lock onto our quantum signatures. In the command center back on Earth, Hannah watched the battle unfold. The Council ships moved in predictable patterns, constrained by their own technology. The human vessels danced around them like boxers facing opponents who could only move in straight lines. It's working, Park said in amazement. We're actually holding them off. On the main view screen, the Council flagship, 3 times larger than any other vessel, began charging what appeared to be its main weapon. The energy readings were off the charts. They're targeting Washington, someone shouted. Admiral Lee's voice came through clearly. Not on my watch. The Defiance appeared directly in front of the Council flagship, seemingly a suicidal position. But instead of firing, it activated its drive in a way never before attempted. The quantum field expanded outward, engulfing the alien vessel. The massive Council ship suddenly hung motionless, caught in a quantum stasis field that neutralized its weapons and drives. This is Admiral Jai-Ho Lee of Earth, he broadcast to the remaining Council fleet. Your flagship is disabled. We have demonstrated our capabilities. We offer you this chance to withdraw and negotiate as equals. For several tense minutes, nothing happened. Then, one by one, the Council ships began powering down their weapons. Humanity had stood its ground. And the galaxy would never be the same. The Council flagship hung motionless in Earth orbit, still trapped in the quantum stasis field. Inside the United Nations Emergency Chamber, representatives from Earth faced the captured Council leaders across a table hastily assembled for this historic meeting. Dr. Hannah Kim sat beside Admiral Lee and Director Park, her tablet filled with data she had spent the night organizing. The lead Council representative, Cian, no longer projected his former confidence. You have violated countless galactic protocols, Cian stated, though his telepathic voice carried less authority now. The consequences will be severe. Admiral Lee leaned forward. Your ships are disabled, your weapons neutralized. I suggest you reconsider your position. The Secretary General raised her hand for calm. We didn't invite you here to exchange threats. We want answers. Hannah activated her presentation. Above the table, holographic images appeared, detailed scans of the artificial limitations built into space-time itself. These barriers weren't created naturally, she explained. They're artificial constructs, designed to channel technological development along specific paths that the Council controls. Xian's 4 eyes blinked rapidly. Those are necessary stability measures. Without them, chaos would reign, or innovation would flourish, countered Hannah. We've analyzed your historical records from the captured ships. The Council has maintained power for 12,000 years by restricting technological advancement. As she spoke, Director Park was overseeing a different operation. Using the communication arrays of the captured Council flagship, Earth was broadcasting this meeting. and all the evidence, to every council member species. On thousands of worlds across the galaxy, beings of all forms were watching, learning for the first time how their development had been carefully controlled. "Your deception has lasted millennia," Admiral Lee said, "but it ends today." Barely 2 hours later, the first response came. A ship appeared at the edge of the solar system, not using Council-approved methods, but through a crude version of quantum displacement. "This is Commander Dai of the Proxima Systems," came the transmission. The being on screen resembled a humanoid with silver skin and elongated features. "We have monitored your broadcast. We have long suspected the Council's restrictions, but never had proof." More ships followed, representatives from 24 younger species, all expressing the same sentiment. For centuries, their scientists had proposed theories similar to humanity's quantum displacement, only to be told such approaches were impossible or prohibited. In the UN chamber, Sion and the other council leaders watched with dismay as their coalition crumbled before their eyes. "You don't understand what you're doing," Sion warned. "There are reasons for the limitations we enforce. Dangers you cannot comprehend." "Then explain them," challenged Hana. "No more secrets, no more deceptions. If there are genuine dangers, we will face them together." The following days saw an unprecedented gathering in Earth orbit. Ships from 37 species formed a makeshift conference, which the media dubbed the Liberation Congress. Commander Day emerged as a leader among the younger species. "For too long, we have accepted the Council's boundaries. Humanity has shown us there is another way." Dr. Kim found herself working around the clock, sharing the principles of the quantum displacement drive with scientists from across the galaxy. Many brought their own innovations, technologies suppressed by the Council, but preserved in secret. "It's like they were afraid of what we might become if we worked together," Minho remarked as they examined a power system designed by the Exonar Republic that complemented the quantum drive perfectly. A week after the confrontation, the new alliance was formalized. The older Council species were offered membership under new terms, complete technological transparency, and no artificial limitations. Some accepted. Others retreated to their home systems, warning of disasters to come. 6 months later, the first joint human-alien vessel prepared for its maiden voyage. The Starship Renaissance, twice the size of any previous human vessel, incorporated technologies from 23 different species. At its heart was an improved quantum displacement drive, designed by a team led by Dr. Hana Kim. Standing before the assembled dignitaries, Hana looked out at the faces, human and alien, united in common purpose. "The Council believed that progress must be controlled to prevent chaos," she said. "We believe that shared innovation is the path to true advancement. Today we begin writing a new chapter in galactic history, not as competitors bound by artificial constraints, but as collaborators limited only by our imagination." As the Renaissance departed Earth orbit, disappearing in a flash of quantum displacement, it carried more than a crew of explorers. It carried the promise of a new order, where technology served all species equally, where knowledge flowed freely across the stars, and where humanity's greatest contribution to the galaxy was not the drive itself, but the courage to break through boundaries others thought could never be crossed. Retroclaude can make mistakes. Please double-check responses. 3.7 Sonnet.